Hi there, I'm Katie Dickson, the Floriculturist here at Magnolia Plantation and Gardens. In these kind of difficult circumstances where a lot of us are cooped up in the house, I want to bring people's attention to the ways that you can bring beauty and positivity back into the home and stay cheerful. And so the best way to do that, I think, is by using resources in your own backyard. So beautiful botanicals, foliage, twigs, and flowers. Create pieces that you can put around your house, and it's just a good creative outlet. And so here at Magnolia, we're staying positive and we're doing just that. So what I have with me right now is a prepared vase that has clean water in it, and I've stacked some tropical Stromanthes leaves simply by wrapping them on the inside, and a really beautiful cast iron leaf at the bottom. So this will hide all of my mechanics, and if I put wires or stems in, it just gives it a nice clean finish. So I'm going to start building my floral elements, and the biggest thing that I like to remind people is to start with the sturdiest, woodiest stems first, and then progress to the most delicate. Because if you think about it, you don't want to just start throwing things in at random, because really delicate, precious stems will get manhandled and the petals will fall off, and it's very frustrating. So try to work from sturdy to most delicate. And then another design tip for all of you at home is to consider the phrase thriller, filler, and spiller. And so it might sound a little cliche, but it helps me remember that you want some sort of vertical interest that kind of grabs your attention, lots of beautiful textural filler, and if you can find it, some sort of draping element, and then that'll just make a really sophisticated finished piece. And so we're going to attempt to do that today with things that we have foraged this morning at Magnolia. So following my own advice, which I need to do, I'm going to start with some fairly sturdy Dusty Miller. It has these nice thick kind of square stems, so I feel like I can arrange with them first. So I'm just going to put them kind of radially in sort of a circle throughout my vase, and this is going to give me sort of an armature or something to nestle those more fragile stems on top of. So my Dusty Miller's in. My next sturdiest elements probably are Snapdragon. This is a Sonnet series, beautiful cut flower Snapdragon. This is Bronze, is the variety. And I like to work in a circle typically. There's no right or wrong way to assemble flowers. It's very subjective, but I just like a little bit of order, and I like to feel that it's pretty symmetrical. So for me, I'm going to put them in sort of a circular pattern. And so perhaps we're working more towards the fragile side of things now. So I've got this really shocking, beautiful purple Veronica. So this is Speedwell. It has thinner stems, and the petals tend to fall apart if you handle them too much. So I'm going to be very careful with them and put them on top of our more rigid pieces. And I think probably the most fragile thing that I've gathered today is Delphinium, which is so gorgeous, and it reminds me of my grandmother's garden. But this is just a small sample of what I harvested today. It has these beautiful kind of crepe paper flowers, and it's just absolutely gorgeous, but the petals do crumble fairly easily. So this is going to be one of our last elements. We're focusing on lots of color and height and interest, but if you can, try to put things that spill out of the container a little bit, just for some drama and some added interest. For us, we have no shortage of wisteria, so this has truly exploded all over our trees. And this is a woody vine, so it's deciduous, and you don't see it for most of winter, and then it does this in spring. So I thought this fit our color scheme, and I'm just going to tuck it in front and see if I like that. And finally, I'm a really big fan of ferns. Not everybody loves ferns, but this is a really, really delicate, beautiful one called Asparagus Fern, and I think it kind of lends that sort of architectural trailing element. So I'm going to put some of those in. They tend to be kind of this like lemony green color. This is pretty much it. And I will say a couple of my favorite tips for you quickly is to please change out the water in your vase every 2 to 3 days. Do take the time to put in some flower food. This is not a hoax. Flower food actually helps the flowers stay alive longer because it contains typically a bactericide, which cuts down on germs in the vase, sugar, which nourishes the cut stems, and sometimes citric acid, which balances the pH of your water. So it's worth it to save these when you get a grocery store bouquet or something from a friend. I'm not ashamed. I have baggies of these all over my house. So flower food, change the water every 2 to 3 days, and enjoy.